put on the main cowling. And I already started a little bit. I cut all the pieces out, which then need to be put together with a little tab. And I put the main initial part of the cowling on, and oh my gosh, it fits perfectly. It's amazing how nice it fits. The seams, I'm going to make sure they all follow right underneath. So I'm lining up every time there's a seam on the very bottom, just because that way they're out of the way. And I'm just showing you where each individual piece basically will fit on. And this is just trying to show you basically the point is you're going to be putting each of these little guys on until you get to the very last one. Ooh, it's nice being fat. And pop that one on, and you'll glue all those in succession, and you'll end up with a cowling. Okay, so that's just to show you what's happening. Now, there's the seam of the first one, went all the way around, and then I just very carefully put a little bit of glue, lined up the seams, and put little bits of glue each one. So now I'll show you how the next one goes. So you can see, I didn't put glue around the whole thing, just a little initial spot. Now you take your next little ring and you pop it on there like so, and you just make sure it's even as you can get it, because if it's made right, it'll fit really well, which in this case this does. You just hold it there and let it dry, but just that little piece, just get it started. Okay, you kind of pinch it with your fingers, make sure that there's not a big ledge there, and then you move along and glue a little bit more. I tend to glue it from the inside, but as long as you get some glue along the edge, it doesn't matter. And then you slowly, but see, I'm not putting a bunch on over the whole thing, just a little bit at a time. And then you squeeze that one down. And this glue again is great because it gets tacky quickly. And then you just kind of smear off the electrodes and you keep going. You all the way around. Now here I ran into trouble because see that little bulge? I don't know why, but my piece is a little long. So now I'm thinking, what am I gonna do? Everything is nice and glued, but it's kind of got a hoop in it, see? It's got like a little bulge, like a speed bump in it that won't go down. So I ended up going at the seam and actually cutting that outside ring a little bit. Just enough, a little bit of surgery. And I don't know if it's the kit's fault or it's my fault or whatever the reason is, wasn't quite right. So I just sort of pulling that off again, and then I'm going to reinstall it, and I'll be able to get that bow out of there because it will have relieved the pressure. Put a little glue on there, just like we did before, and keep going around. And at this point, I think I only have one or two more rings to put on. You just do them in succession like this, or maybe it's no, I think I have one more, and then that might be it. You just put that on and glue it, make sure it's nice and perfect. We're going to do a little filling later. Okay, so now we're on the very last one. So this last one comes out, I cut this one out with a compass, which was nice. It just comes out, it's perfectly circular, no guesswork, nothing. Cut it out with a circle cutter, and just going to drop this guy onto the front piece. And again, this thing is modeled very well because this fit exceptionally well. I mean, there was a little ridge, and I'll show you what we're going to do with that later. But even as is, as put together, just make sure it's all squished in there and tap it in place. As is, you can see those seams, but that's actually a really well-formed cowling. It looks like the right shape. It's neat with some burnishing. It looked great on there. You can see I put it on the bottom seams down there. It fits wonderfully to the front end of the airplane, to the bulkhead. The engine still spins, although I think it won't spin when I put it on for real because I think it's kind of squished on there. But overall, looks absolutely fantastic. And so I'm very pleased that the cowling looks this way. Now, you could leave it like this, burnish it and do the best you can. I'm going to go a step further and fill this in with filler and sand it to get rid of those ridges. But we'll show you that in another video. Next will be our machine gun.